All right. Um, Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. What's up? What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing, man? I hope everyone's getting their last bit of Christmas shopping out of the way. I did a little bit, the rest that I needed to do early this morning when I got up. I know I wanted to go live today and talk a little bit more about the heavyweights before we move on. All right. And I think the next bit of content I'll probably do is just do an awards 2020-24 awards video. All right. I'll probably do it all in one like I normally do every year. And then we'll move on and we'll start discussing upcoming fights and start getting breakdowns and stuff for the early next year. So we do have some fights scheduled. All right. I was on a live the other day. Shout out to everyone that was on a live the other day. All right. Shout out to everyone that's here right now. I see you, podcast. I see you, Ralph. What's up? Please hit the thumbs up. Smash the like button if you can. Share the video if you can. Um, so I wanted to do a video live and just talk about the heavyweight division. You guys see the title, and um, yes, we're gonna be talking about Danny Dubois and Usyk potentially fighting in the future if Dubois can get through Joseph Parker. So we'll be talking about that later in the video. All right. I wanted to go a little bit over what we saw the other day at the heavyweight division. We had Moses Itauma. I want to talk about him. I'm going to briefly just brush over the Johnny Fisher fight again. All right, I did a recap of that. I'm sure a lot of people didn't see that video. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're just going to go over, Usyk, Fury, AJ, and some of the other top fighters, because there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things that could happen here, and that's based on us not knowing what Usyk is going to do. Because he said that he has interest of going back down to cruiser, right, and trying to pick up, trying to become undisputed again. That's something he wants to do. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and just mainly stick to heavyweights in this video. All right. And I'm going to let you guys know what I'm looking forward to. But to be honest, man, there's not much left for the top guys. Like, there's a few fights that I want to see, but like the guys like the Parkers, the AJs, Fury, and all of these guys, they're on their way out. And then we have a group of guys that's active, right? And then we have a group of that last group that still didn't. You still have people that didn't fight yet. You know what I mean? Like, for example, you got a Martin Piccoli who's been around, and he hasn't really got the opportunity to fight one of these bigger names. You got guys like Michael Hunter that's still like around. They're still there. You got Pulev, who just became the WBA. What's up with the WBA, man? Like, why is the WBA just always just keeping these guys that's like around, like Mohamed Char, right? Right. Mohamed Char has been like the regular WBA champion, or he's been like around in high rank by not beating anyone relevant for years, right? And Pulev is pretty good, but he's older now. Like, he's from like the Klitschko, Povetkin time. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of older. So him being a WBA regular champion now, like, what's going on with that? Um, who's the other guy that was promoted by Don King? That was like the guy that Danny Dubois sparked out like real quick, like mad quick. Trevor Bryant. Like, the WBA and the way that they do things is always been kind of weird to me, right? Like, what's going on with their their rankings, and how do they come across like getting some of these guys in position to fight for the regular WBA? You know what I'm saying? We'll talk all about that. All right, shout out to everyone that's here. Mayowa, what's up, man? Mike G, AR, Kabad, what's up? Dangerous Thing, what's up, everyone that's in the chat. All right. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that, man. Like, So many different options here because Usyk holds three of the major four, and you got Dubois, who's champ, and he has a tough fight. He has another tough fight. He's had a tough schedule recently, right? And he's gonna fight Joseph Parker, who's actually been he's at his best right now. I want to say that he's even better than what he was as a prospect. I think he's better. I think he's at his best right now. I think him still being very athletic mixed with him having the experience. I see a lot of fire in him. I like the aggression. He still fights the same way, but he has the experience. And I think he's at his best right now. You know, there was a period where Joseph Parker was looking like, all right. I think back when he was a prospect, I think Joseph Parker was when he started getting those tough fights like against Carlos Takam and Andy Ruiz. I started to think like, all right, he's definitely one of the top guys on the come up, but I don't know. I was just seeing like I was thinking at the time. I thought Dillian White and AJ and stuff. I think they were a little bit ahead, and Wilder as well. You know, when he fought AJ, I didn't like that fight. I didn't like that fight for neither one. I didn't. I think both of them came out that fight not looking impressive. That's one of those AJ wins that it was like, oh, all right win. And then for Parker, I didn't think he took enough risk. And I don't think the ref breaking them up continuously didn't help the fight neither. You know? But right now, I like how Parker is right now. I like the way he fought Wilder. I like the way how aggressive he was in that fight. I like the way he fought Zhang too. He got dropped twice, but he won every other moment in that fight, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I like the way he is right now. And I like his chances against Triple D. You know, I'm sure Triple D is going to be the favorite to win, but I like Parker's chances. I like his chances a little bit more. Um, obviously it's actually it's stating after the fact because AJ lost, and I thought AJ was going to win that fight against Triple D. But I think Parker and the way he is right now would be a better fit for Triple D than what AJ showed us that night. You know what I mean? Even the moments AJ had some success, I think Parker has always been a little quicker, a little bit more elusive. I think he's better at fighting on the back foot. AJ's bigger, probably a bigger puncher. Have the bigger fights and everything. But I think Parker stylistically might be the most difficult fight for Triple D right now since the Usyk fight. All right. I know I'm going to be a little bit overplaced, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Just gonna go over the last result. I want to start off this talking about this. If you guys didn't see my video, I made a video about what's this guy's name? Dave Allen. And how I thought the fight was a riot. I did rewatch the fight. Brief recap. Nothing's changed. I call it a robbery, and I know people like to say, we all like to say, if it's a close fight, if it's based off a round, it's a close fight. No, I think the rounds were easy to score. I'm gonna double down and stand by what I said. The fight was very easy for me to score. Okay, and I think a fighter clearly won just because we score around a 10-round fight, 4-6, doesn't mean that it was a close fight. It was a clear win for Dave Allen, in my opinion. And I thought Dave held his punches a little bit. I thought he could have done more. I thought he could have actually stopped Johnny Fisher, dropping him and clearly winning the rounds that I gave him. Again, effective punching. Okay. One guy is clearly hurting the opponent every time he lands. And the other fighter is just, he's throwing more punches, but he's losing strength. He's losing power as the fight goes on. Yeah, his legs was never underneath him after the fifth round. Johnny Fisher lost the fight, and it's hard, for an undefeated guy. I can't even put him in the same. I can't even put him in the same box as all the other undefeated guys. I can't even mention him with Moses Itauma right now. I can't mention him with Fabio Wardley or you know any of the other guys, even guys like uh uh Anderson. Like, I can't really mention them in the same space. You know what I mean? I just think that he is just not on that level. Like he's just not on the level of the next crop of heavyweights. You know what I mean? The guys that have potential to be champions down the line. Johnny Fisher, just, Dave Allen doing that to him. He showed a lot of heart again. He showed a lot of heart, but I can't really put him in that same space, you know? And I never really thought he was even in that class, but it just got proven to me like the other day, like win or lose, he just doesn't really belong. He needs a lot more time to develop, and I think uh he would need to maybe fight like a David Adelaide or someone like that. You know what I mean? At some point, I think Moses is clearly already above him, and Dave Allen clearly won the fight, and that's really it. Dave Allen, what he did was just prove that he can still get into certain fights with maybe certain up and coming guys, or be a tune up with some certain top guys and still give a good fight. And that's it. All right. Moses Itama. I am now a believer. I've been watching him since his pro debut. I was there on his debut. I seen him for the first time when I went to the UK to watch uh, Arthur Beterbiev against Anthony Yard. So I was there and I watched Moses for the first time that day, and I heard a lot about him. But that was my first time seeing him, and I've been watching him since. And I think he's improving. I think his clear advantage here is that he's not a big heavyweight. He has a clear speed advantage over just about everybody up there right now. I think out of all of the guys that's there, I think he's extremely fast and explosive, and he can punch, at least at this level. All right. We haven't seen him at a higher level yet. But I'm a believer. But I'll say this. Even with that knockout, I still want to see a little bit more. I want him to move up, but I'm not with the championship title fight talk. If we're going to talk about like British fighters that is as close to being a championship level, I would say Fabio Wardley is the guy. You know what I mean? I understand that Moses wants to break Mike Tyson's record, and I think that's what they're pushing. That's the promotion that they're pushing, like trying to beat records. He's 19. I get that. And I think he will beat some of these top guys right now. But what top guy is going to want to get in the ring with him right now? You know what I mean? Like a Dillian White, who's a former top 5-ish heavyweight, right? He's not going to want to fight Moses right now. Like the guys that are left, they're going to be looking to get in the ring with someone that can possibly get them a title shot, put them in a position to fight for another title. Like you got guys that's like Pulev, for example. I was just talking about him. The guy is still relevant. He's still got a WBA regular title, right? He's not going to want to get in there with a Moses right now, because he's right around the corner from being, mandated to fight for the full title. And let me say this too. We talk a lot about Usyk. Who's he going to fight? Is he going to fight Danny Dubois? Is he going to stay at heavyweight? What is he going to do? Usyk, he might go back down the cruiser and vacate all these heavyweight titles, and the titles can get split up all over again. You know what I mean? So there's no guarantee that Usyk is even going to stay at the division. But the guys are at the top. That's right there. Ajay Kabayel, Mark Bacoli, like uh, even a guy like Lawrence Okoli who just got there. Are these guys gonna want to risk the position they are in right now to fight Moses, who's just on his way up? He's trying to go straight there, and he's trying to get a good fight or a good win in right now because he wants to get that position that these guys that are just underneath the heavyweight title fight, he's trying to get their spot. Who's going to be willing to give them that spot? They're going to have to pay one of these guys a lot of money to even get in the ring with them. They're going to have to pay them a lot of money. And I don't see these guys doing it. Would I like to see it? Absolutely. But who's going to want to do it? Who's going to want to take that risk right now? You know what I mean? Like, I don't see it. I don't see it unless someone is at a bad spot or they're coming off a loss, like Otto Wallin. Like if he loses to Derek Chisora, let's just say he loses to Derek, he might want to take that fight because if he were to beat Moses, it would put him right back on the map. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. So Moses, he's going to have a hard time getting some of the fights he's wants. I seen him ask about taking the Otto Wallin Derek Chisora winner. Would he take that fight? He said, I'm looking ahead. He's already looking past that. He's like, I don't want to be fighting these guys that are just, experienced fights and stuff. He's looking to go straight to a fight that can get him in a position to fight for a title. And that's going to be very hard to do because who's going to want to risk losing that position? And I don't even think a lot of these guys are still good. Again, Dillian White, I just don't see him really being a threat to any of the top dogs right now. But because he has a name, because he was like a mandatory for a minute, and because he's been in there with all of the top guys damn near, being there with Fury, being there with AJ, being there with Joseph Parker, Beckin. I don't see him wanting to give a guy like Moses the opportunity. You know what I mean? Dillian White is either looking for the bag or he's looking for something that can get him in a position to fight for a title. Shout out to everyone that's joining us. J Bean Boxing says Richard Torres would smoke him. I don't know about that. I like Richard Torres. But I say the same thing every single time I see him fight. I'm like, really, really aggressive style, but you fight a guy, if he fights someone that can fight a little bit on the back foot and can tie him lunging in and charging in like the way that he does, that might be an issue. It might be an issue. He's the type that likes to charge straight in all the time. So if you get a decent fighter that can fight off the back foot and counter and time these guys that's going to rush in like that, he may have an issue. He may have an issue. Torres is good though. And I think that is the right fight. I think that is the fight for Moses right now. Because I think he's at the same level. I think Jared Anderson is at that level. I think a lot of these guys that recently turned pro is the right fight for Moses. But Moses, he's looking past all that right now. He's looking to go straight to a title shot as quickly as he can. You know what I mean? So him being with Frank Warren and all that, I think is very, very possible. I think it's very possible because Frank is very good at getting his guys right in position to fight for a title. And look at Triple D. Triple D lost twice, got stopped twice, and now he's champion. And he got stopped twice, what, in the past 3, maybe 4 years? You know what I mean? Hasn't even been 4 years since he lost to Joe Joyce, and he got him right back in for another title. Frank knows how to move the pieces to get people right there. So I believe that Moses may not get in Tyson's. He might not get it as faster than Tyson, but I think he'll get it, or at least get in position to fight for a title pretty damn quickly. Leonard says Moses been on 3. Leonard, by the way, thank you for the super chat. He says Moses been on 3 Riyadh seasons events since it started with Frank Warren. Don't think finding an opponent going to be a problem. Money's dead. Okay. Great point. And this is what I'm saying right now. Who's gonna do it though? You know, I still think some of these guys, like some of them ones I mentioned, it really depends. I think they can make it work if the money is right, which money will be if they are doing another Riyadh season, or if the guys are looking for legacy type of fight, championship fights, or one fight that's going to get them in a potential championship fight. Those are the guys that's going to be a little issue on getting a fight. And in order to make that work, you probably have to pay them a lot of money. You know what I mean? High risk, low reward in that kind of fight. You know, but I get you, and I agree with that point. Please hit the thumbs up, man. Hit the thumbs up. Let's get these likes up. All right. Malnourished Maddie says, I know Torres was a top amateur, but Itauma already seems like a level above him somehow. Yeah, I see it. I see it. But I still want to see more. I still want to see more. I still want to see more. He looks good offensively, but I want to see him get hit with a good shot. I want to see his reaction to that. It's like Andy Cruz, right? Andy Cruz, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, you know, beat guys like Keyshawn Davis. He's with Eddie Hearn. He's at 135. He's running around here calling Keyshawn his son. That last fight, though, he got dropped. He got hurt a couple times in that fight. And this is not against an opponent that everybody was checking for. This is not no guy that's a top dude at 135. So when I say Moses, I want to see a little bit more from Moses. He looks like he could be next up, but he takes a good shot somewhere. What happens? You know, offensively, he looks like a monster. But he hasn't been in there with no real killers yet. Now he wants to prove that he's at that level by getting in there with one of those dudes. You know, but I feel like most of the dudes that would give him a good fight, most of them are very close to getting in position to fight for a title. You know what I mean? So that's all I want to see with Moses. I'm like, man, he just been blowing guys out like so quickly in the fights. I'm like, I want to see a little bit more. You know, I want to see how he looks when he goes to rounds. You know what I mean? It's kind of how I felt about Edgar Berlanga, you know, back when. This is another example I want to give. Edgar, you know, knocking out 16 people in the first round. You know, I mean, the moment he had to box a little bit, the moment the fight started going some rounds, he didn't look that good. Now, I think he's improved again. I think he improved for the Canelo fight. I think he improved the fight before the Canelo fight. All right, against the Irish fighter he had fought. But I just want to see a little bit before Moses, before we start getting too crazy. Like I'm a big fan, and he looks very good, but we've seen this before. You know what I mean? And just want to make sure he's really on point. And I wanted to see more fights with him. But I think Frank is moving him in the right way. I think he's getting a lot of exposure on these Riyadh season cards, and hopefully at some point they can find a good opponent for him. All right, hopefully. Um, all right. Some of you are mixed here. I see some of you saying that you want to see a little bit more and all that. So I get it. All right. So let's talk about let's go back and let's talk about the heavyweights, man. All right. What is Fury gonna do? Tyson Fury, what is he gonna do? I mean, look, we're getting close to the end. We're getting close to the end with Fury, right? I don't know if it's the end. It could be the end. Fury might turn around and say, "Yo, I'm done. I'm done." You know what? I sit back with me family. I talked with my team, and you know what? I'm done. I'm done with the game. I made a lot of money, and I'm done. I still think that Fury is one of the best in his generation. I think he's made this. And look, I am not like I don't have any real biases. I have fighters that I like more than others. I don't have no extreme bias. I keep it fair all the time. All right. Fury has done things that got on my nerves. He's done things, he's said things, he's took certain fights that I want. He's played a lot of games, but at the end of the day, he gave us a lot. Uh he did fight a lot of the top guys. It might not have been at the time that I wanted or you wanted, but he did give me a lot of good fights, a lot of good moments, and he did beat Klitschko first. And he did it with ease, you know. They didn't rematch, and I do believe that Klitschko fought a very scary, safe fight. I like the Klitschko that fought AJ. It was a different Klitschko there. Uh, it wasn't safe Klitschko. I think Klitschko really fought to try to knock this dude out. Whereas Fury, he struggled with Fury and his tactics, and he didn't make any adjustments. He kind of just kept trying to hold and shit. I hated that fight. But at the end of the day, Fury did it. You know, Fury been knocked down like 8, 9 times in his career. Got up. I thought the Wilder fights were fun. I always say that. I know there was a lot of politics when it came to that. Um, it was a lot of the fan stuff where we were talking about AJ, who was stuck in who was cherry picking who. I still love the trilogy. I thought the trilogy was fun. It was one of my favorite. It was some of my favorite lives to do. I did a live for the rematch and the trilogy fight. It was fun. All right. And he picked up some decent wins in between. Beating Dillian White. Didn't beat Usyk, but he still fought him twice. But overall, I think, obviously, I think Usyk is a top guy, but I think Fury is right there. I think the only thing I really need left from Fury is to see if he can beat AJ. Those are the two most popular heavyweights in his past generation. They're two British fighters. That's the only thing that I really want from Fury at this point. I think the Triple D fight would be a big fight too. But Triple D is from the next crop of guys. So I don't really want that fight as bad. Um, but it would be a legacy fight for Fury in the sense that he's he would fight and possibly beat someone that still has a lot of work to do. Like Triple D can go on to be undisputed. I don't know. I can't even predict Triple D fight. I'm always wrong with them shits. I don't want to sit here and tell you what I think the kid is gonna be. I don't know what he's gonna be because he ends up beating guys that I picked to beat him. You know what I mean? But for Fury, I personally just want the AJ fight. I think that's left. I think that's all that's left for him. You know what I mean? And I had a good time. But even with all the drama, I had a good time with Fury. I thought Fury is part of the reason, and I always say this: Fury is part of the reason why the heavyweight division became fun again. I thought it was dry and boring for some time. I think Fury's part of the reason why it became fun again. He's part of the reason, you know. So is Wilder, so is Usyk, so is AJ, so is Parker, so is Triple D and some of these other guys. I think these guys made it fun. And Fury is a huge part of that. All right. Um, he was popular over there, but he's even became popular over here in America. You know what I mean? Um, that's all I want. As far as legacy, he is one of the best of this generation. You know, of course, there were people that was hyping him up. Uh, I did watch a little bit of the fight again. Uh, there are people that's leaving comments about saying like they thought Fury won the fight. I've seen enough comments, not just on my videos, but on other videos. I've seen the promoters say they thought Fury won, you know, like Oscar De La Hoya, Frank Warren. Well, Frank Warren is definitely going to say that. Eddie Hearn. You know, I mean, I expect those guys to say what they say, you know. Um, a lot of people wanted Tyson Fury to win. They wanted them to win. They picked them to win. It is what it is. You know, I've been doing this for a long time. And I part of me creating content is having my ear to the street. Like I know what boxing fans feel. I read comments. I read thousands and thousands of comments a year on boxing topics. Like I'm on social media. I know what people are saying. So at the end of the day, I know how people can be emotional and biased towards their picks. All right. I thought the fight was competitive, just like the first. Um, I actually thought Fury did a little better in the first fight. All right. I thought he did a little better in the first fight. I thought he made the necessary adjustments for this fight, though. But like I said in both fights, I predicted them the same way. In order to beat Usyk, it hasn't been proven yet, right? It hasn't been proven, but I think that there are certain fighters that gave him a tougher fight than what Fury and AJ did. I know they both had 2 fights with Usyk. You have to adjust with him. You have to at least have close to the stamina he has. And you have to have a fighter on the back foot a little bit more. You know, you can't be as defensive. You can't try to box with him. I said this the other day. You can't try to outbox him. It's not going to work. I feel he's a very good boxer, but you're not going to outbox him. Whatever he's adjusting, you got to adjust with him. Whatever worked for you in the 5th round, it's not going to work in the 6th. It's not going to keep working. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to work. I like Chisora. Chisora didn't care, bro. He just walked in there and tried to run him down. You're smaller. I'm bigger. I'm just going to run you down. And Usyk still won, but it wasn't convincing. It was close. It was better than what Fury and AJ did, in my opinion. He didn't care about defense. The only person that I thought was really boxing well from beginning to end was Breedis. But outside of him, I think Chisora fight was closer. I thought Breedis fight was closer. I thought Michael Hunter fight was closer. Michael Hunter went in there and said, "I'm just gonna brawl with you. I'm not gonna try to outbox you. I'm gonna keep throwing punches until I get tired." And Usyk started picking up the rounds when Michael Hunter got tired. You know? Oh no, I agree with you, but I'm not talking about easier said than done. I'm talking about what I actually see, and I'm comparing certain fighters to AJ and Fury. I'm not just saying it, I'm giving you examples. These guys did better against Usyk, in my opinion. You know, like Usyk, we already know he's gonna do. He's so technical. He's bouncing, he's moving the magic wand, he's changing levels, he's fainting, he's doing all these things. It's hard to really get the timing down. But certain these fighters like Michael Hunter and Derek Chisora, those guys is not, they're not playing. They're just not playing. They're not playing. You put they playing, Usyk is playing chess, and these guys are just knocking off the pieces off the board and coming straight forward. They're like, no, we're not playing chess, we're playing checkers. I'm not playing this game with you. AJ even said it, after the first fight, like he was trying to like box with Usyk. You could see in the ring, he's trying to be the better boxer. He felt like he can be the better boxer. He could match wits. He couldn't do it. It was just too much. It's too much going on. He's never faced anything like that. So he took the right approach and the rematch, right? He took the right approach. Like it was a better fight for AJ, right? But AJ's a boxer, bro. He's not gonna just be getting touched up. Anytime he gets touched with anything, he's gonna fall back and react. Where Derek Chisora is just gonna keep lunging at you. Michael Hunter is gonna like Michael Hunter. Let me just bring up Michael Hunter real quick. You guys remember when Michael Hunter fought Povetkin? He fought Povetkin in those first couple of rounds so disrespectfully. Like he tried to knock Povetkin out in one round. Nobody tried to do that before. Nobody just went at Povetkin. Everybody respected Povetkin and his power, right? Even though Povetkin was already starting to get old, everybody fought him with respect, except Dillian White in a rematch. Dillian White was pissed off, so he just lunged at him. But even Dillian White, who's never fought Usyk, kind of had an idea in certain fights. But this is what I mean. Like when a guy is such a good boxer, you want to just maul him. It's kind of like, I'm gonna keep giving you examples. It's kind of like Marcos Maidana and Floyd. Marcus Maidana did not care that he was in a ring with Floyd Mayweather. It was no respect. I'm not gonna let you have your way against me. I'm not gonna let you slow down the pace. I'm not gonna wait for you. I'm gonna turn this into a street fight. So, Fury, um, listen, he had a good run. He beat a lot of other people that are good. Um, I love it. I love it. And he's one of the top guys. And for Fury, that's all I want to see. And then for Usyk, I at heavyweight, I honestly believe that there's nothing else there for him to have to do. He has nothing else to prove except excuse me, maybe fight Triple D in a rematch. And that's what I really wanted to talk about. Triple D is fighting Joseph Parker next. But if Triple D is to beat Joseph Parker, I think that's the fight to do it because people keep talking about the low blow wasn't low blow. I see it all the time. I see it every day. Anytime Usyk is mentioned, every single time I see anything on Usyk, I read the comments. There are people that are not letting that go. There's a lot of people that don't believe that that punch was low. It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. It doesn't matter if Usyk stopped. People are not going to let it go. I'm not going to pretend like it didn't happen. I remember watching it live with you guys. I was watching it at the moment. I didn't think it was low neither. Now, after replaying it and rewatching and freezing it and watching it from one angle where it didn't look low and watching it from the other side that it did look low, the navel, then we had a whole thing about where exactly is low. The belt line is this, the navel is this. All right. At the end of the day, you're not going to change people's mind. People think that Dubois got robbed. That is the only, I don't want to call it a blemish. It's not a blemish, but it's the one thing that people tend to go back to. Everybody, every great, right, has that fight that everybody back to. You know what I mean? Everybody has that one fight that people are going to always bring up. No matter how great you are, people are going to always bring up that fight. And Triple D is that fight. And it's that one fight. People are not going to let it go. So I think if he does stay at, if he does, I don't know why my camera keeps losing focus. Give me a second. Hold on. All right, it's a little better. Fingerprint was on it. Um, yeah, it's that one fight that people are just not gonna let go. And if he's gonna stay up at heavyweight, do it. This guy came in, called you out. A lot of people didn't like it, but you know what? It's the fight game, man. I thought about it. I said, you know what? Usyk didn't like it because Usyk is talking and he's talking about his family and he's talking about how much the win means to him. And Triple D just came in and interrupted it. He's like, "Yeah, I got robbed." You know how Triple D is. Frank Warren likes to have these talks before because Triple D is, he's not the most super social guy. You know what I mean? I can tell like Frank was like, "Oh, when he wins, go in there and call him out." Say you want a rematch, and he did. And people could talk about the time. And I'm like, you know what? I get all that respect and stuff. I get that, but this is a fight game. Fighters are gonna come and interrupt your victory speech. It's part of the game. You just got paid. You guys are getting paid 8 figures for these fights. I think the least you have to really worry about is someone calling you out. You know what I mean? Now Usyk said right there, like, "Yo, make this fight, make this fight," and I think he was serious. I don't think Usyk is the type that's out there to be ducking, especially someone that he's already stopped. But he has to be very aware that it may be his most dangerous fight at heavyweight right now because Triple D may not be as skilled as some of these other fighters that Usyk fought, but he's big, he's strong, and we already know where he's going to, the body. And he's going to do it better than AJ did it, and he's going to do it better than Fury did it. Fury just didn't do it enough. He didn't do it enough. At the end of the day, it's the fight game. I thought about it. I was like, yeah, he probably shouldn't have did it that way. At least let the man speak. But at the end of the day, like this is boxing. These guys are not trying to be friends. You trying to punch this guy in the face. You're trying to knock him out. You don't have to be friends. In fact, you know what? I actually prefer these guys not to be friends. Because when you're friends, fights don't happen. When you're respectful, like Dave Allen and Johnny Fisher, you don't go for the kill. Not literally, but you don't go for the knockout. You get what I'm saying? Fights like that. Dave Allen, Johnny Fisher doing interviews together after the fight. Like, oh, as a friend, I would advise you not to fight me. That's what Dave Allen said to Johnny Fisher while he's sitting next to him. As a friend, rematch could be good. It'll be a lot of money. But as a friend, you took a lot of punishment. I wouldn't advise you to fight me. I think you should move on. Now, that's respectful. I would say that to my friends, but I'm not a fighter. You know what I mean? If you guys have that much respect for each other, why are you fighting each other in the first place? You know? So I think that that's the only fight. That is the only fight that makes sense for Usyk. I think this just because people are talking and people are still going to talk. And that's another thing too. Even if you have the rematch, people are going to always say like, you know, uh Castillo and Floyd. Doesn't matter if Floyd beat him in a rematch. People are going to always say Castillo was robbed against Floyd. People to this day are going to still talk about this fight. To this day, they're still talking about the fight. Anytime Floyd Mayweather's name come up, oh, he Castillo got robbed. That's the part of the game. That's part of the game. It's going to come up. Even if he knocks Triple D out, it's still going to come up. You know, yeah, Fury versus McDermott. Fury against Wilder in the 12th round in the first fight. People are gonna bring it up. What's up, Chris? What's up, everyone? What's up, Jamie? What's up, everybody that's in the chat, man? Please hit the thumbs up, man. All right, so for Usyk, that's what I think he needs to do if he's gonna stay up there. If he's gonna come back down, um, I guess it's kind of risky too. I don't think the current crop is as good, but I don't think you should sleep on anybody either. You know what I mean? I think the champions at one at cruiserweight are good. Um, in the perfect world, Triple D, if he gets past Joseph Parker, which I think is a difficult fight, not overlooking Joseph Parker at all. If he were to go back down to cruiser, because that's what he says he wants to do, I think he should fight someone at cruiser first, just to see how, not a champion, just to see how he does at the weight and fight. Let those guys unify down there. Zerto just unified. Let's let those other guys. What's Noel McKellian doing? Like, you know, let Opatai, let somebody become undisputed or do something down there. You know, Zerto and Bill Smith just had a unification, so that's cool. But if that's what he wants to do, which I told you, I've been telling you all week, I don't want to see him back down a cruiser. He's done it at cruiser. He did it. He did it so good. The cruiserweight undisputed run was so good that I don't know why he wants to go back down there. I mean, he says he has to bulk up to be a heavyweight. Um, I don't know, man. I think retire now, or beat Triple D. You know, I don't think there's really nothing at cruiserweight. Like I like the guys like Zerto's good. The Jai Opatai is very good. Um, but he doesn't need to fight those guys. But at the end of the day, he is a fighter. He's gonna want to do what he wants to do. I just don't want it to be in a situation because, like, look, I like Jai Opatai. I like him. He's good. I like him. He's fun to watch, yo. He's one of the meanest fighters out there, and that's why I love that guy. But let's be real. If Breedis was any bit younger, he would have beat Jai. And that's my whole thing. Like, when you're so good, but fighters are beating you because you're just barely past it, it's like, like, yo, bro, this would be a great way to walk away from the sport. But they never do, man. They never do it. They want to keep going. And I think Usyk will be really pushing it, whether he stays at heavyweight or goes down. I don't think it really gets any easier from here. And I don't think anything makes your legacy any better. I don't think becoming undisputed at cruiserweight again makes your legacy better. Leonard says Noel McKellion's in a legal dispute with Don King. That's why Convention WC swapped Noel M to champion in recess and returned Bottle Jack to full champion. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. And I like Bottle Jack. But no disrespect, but what Usyk has already done, none of those fights is going to really do much, just my opinion. But if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. Look, Glassjaw AJ says Dubois KO'd Usyk and was robbed. See, it's not really going to go away. I read it every day somewhere. So I think Dubois would be the way to go if Dubois gets through Parker. And that's it. That's it. Yeah, AJ and Fury is the way to go. I still say AJ and Wilder. I said yesterday maybe an AJ could get a fight in before fighting Fury, and maybe Fury get a fight in, and maybe having a big fight towards the end of the year. Or if they announce that they're going to fight each other next, that'd be great too. I don't think that's realistic. AJ coming off a knockout loss, a devastating one, and Fury coming off 2 loose losses to Usyk. One of them in a fight where he almost got stopped. Is that going to affect how big the fight is if they're both coming off the loss? That's a question. I meant to ask you guys that the other day. Do you guys think Fury coming off the 2 losses to Usyk, AJ coming a knockout loss to Dubois, do you guys think that has an effect on how big the fight between AJ and Fury could potentially have next? Or do you think they don't need to have a tune-up? Do you think they can just go straight into a fight and it still be big, regardless if they're coming off wins or whatever? Like, there's a part of me that says they should have a tune-up each. But there's a part of me that says, what if one of them loses in the tune-up? We just seen what happened to Jaime Munguia, right? You know what I mean? Like, what if this a tune-up that just goes horribly wrong? Like Fury against Otto Walling. Like AJ against Andy Ruiz, which is not a tune-up, by the way, but it was a replacement. Let's see what you guys are saying. Andrew say Dubois rematch, the only fight left for Usyk and undisputed again. Adolf says AJ and Fury will always be massive in the UK. Agreed. Ralph says both should get a tune-up. Andrew says Fury and Joshua would still sell out Wembley, even without world titles on the line. Probably right. Yeah, because the British boxing royalty. Ralph says, I still want to see Wilder versus AJ first. I can admit that I don't right now. Do I still want to see it? Yes. Do I want to see it first? No. It took a while, but it's finally lost its value to me. I want to say up until this year, I still always wanted to really see it. Whereas now it's like, I still want to see it, but I don't want to see it more than Fury and AJ. I don't. All right. Most of you guys are saying no. Most of you guys are saying go straight into the fight. You don't need a tune-up. It's going to be big regardless. I can honestly say I always wanted AJ and Wilder more than anything. But right now, I don't. Right now, I don't. I don't like the way Wilder has been looking. I'm not even talking about just in the fights. You know what I mean? I don't know with Wilder, you know. Like AJ just got knocked out too, you know, but Wilder hasn't looked good in a long time. It's been a long time, man. Because you got to remember, we also got to count the knockouts by Fury, and it was a long gap of not fighting. And then you just knock out Robert Helenius, who was your sparring partner in one round, and it's been a long time, man, since he had a good performance. You know what I mean? Um, AJ really might not be in his prime anymore, but he's looked better recently to me. Even getting washed up by Triple D. Wilder hasn't looked good in a very, very long time. It's been years now. So I still want to see it off the strength that it was such a big fight. It was actually a fight that we were talking about on here for years, but it's lost a lot of stock, especially while they're losing the weight he's lost in his last two fights. It's like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, damn, like, you know, he hasn't looked good. He arguably lost every round to Joseph Parker, who was one of his rivals at one point because they both held titles at the same time at one point. So I do want to see AJ fight him, but not prioritize. Like I'm a little bit over it. They just took too long. You know what I mean? Fury and AJ is still a little bit closer to their primes than Wilder. I think Wilder has fell off hard, in my opinion. You know, I seen a video of him like he was in a dressing room or something, and he's lost his muscle mass. Like he looked frail. You know, he's always been slim, but he was always muscular at the same time. I don't know, man. And last time I heard, he was going through a lot, you know, personal stuff. You know, so you know, after that loss to Zhang, I think he had some issues going on at home. You know, I don't want to start talking about all that stuff, but yeah, I just don't know, man. I'm taking Fury, AJ, both active. You know what I mean? Like I'll take that fight right now. You know, and that's it. Um, Joshua Zhang is cool, but Zhang is gonna be fighting. So when it comes to the titles, we know that Usyk is holding three of them, right? WBA, WBC, and WBO. So I believe, you know, we know Triple D has the IBF. He has a fight with Parker. The WBA, you got like Martin McCauley is number one. So I don't know how that's gonna work because you have like the regular guys like Pulev or whatever, but Martin Bacoli right now should be trying to push a WBA to get him a title shot. You know what I mean? Like at this point, that's all he should be pushing for. Caballel is fighting Zhang for an interim WBC title. Uh WBO, I don't know what's going on with the WBO. Let me look it up real quick. The WBO, is also being held by Usyk. Trying to zoom in here. All right. So Joseph Parker is actually the interim WBO holder right now. So that is for the WBO. So what's the WBC? I thought the WBC This is so confusing. So the WBO right now, I'm sorry, the WBC, we got Caballero, Martin Bacoli, and then Zhilei Zhang. All right, so look, all I know is that Usyk has to probably fight Martin Bacoli at some point if he keeps those titles. And like I said before, I can't see. Oh, that's right. Malnourished Maddie. Yes, I forgot. Bacoli is going to be fighting. I don't think they made it official. I think they have a date, but I don't think it is official that Ajagba is supposed to be the next guy. We know how that fight is going. Yeah. I just can't see Usyk fighting Bacoli. No, Bacoli's going to be a problem. All right. So, yeah, anyway. All right, guys. Look, I'm going to get on out of here, man. I just wanted to do some heavyweight talk. All right. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up, please, on your way out. Next couple videos next video I should be talking about. I'm gonna start getting the year because I don't think it is any other major fights this year. I think it's pretty much a wrap. I think we got the New fight with Sam Goodman was canceled or postponed. We were supposed to get it in a couple of days. We're not gonna get it. Yoka against Martinez 2 is gonna be on New Year. All right, New Year's Eve. So I'm gonna start giving you guys fight of the year, knockout of the year. I'm gonna start going on doing my homework on that, and then coming back and doing some content on that soon. All right. All right, guys. Y'all have a good day. And if I don't see you, Merry Christmas. If you celebrate, Happy Holidays and all that. Merry Christmas. Shout out to my mom too. My mom, it was her birthday yesterday. Big shout out to Mama Wave. It was her birthday yesterday. All right. Anyway, I'm out. Y'all have a good day. Peace.